So you've got this amazing idea, right? But then how do you actually make it happen? How do you stop it from just fizzling out because you're not sure how to turn that spark into a real product? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're going to look at the Professional's Playbook, Chapter 7 of the Babak Guide. This is the stuff that turns those fuzzy ideas into real, valuable solutions that actually work. All right, so here's our game plan. Think of these 6 steps as our roadmap. This isn't just some random checklist, it's a structured journey, specifically designed to help us avoid costly mistakes and make sure that the thing we end up building is something that actually matters. We're going to go from a rough idea all the way to a final, rock-solid recommendation. Let's get started. You know, to make all this theory really click, we're going to follow a case study. So let's meet Brugo. It's a local coffee shop, and they have an idea for a mobile app so people can order ahead. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But as you're about to see, following a framework like this is what separates a wildly successful app from a frustrating and very expensive failure.
Okay, first things first. Step 1 is all about specifying and modeling requirements. This is where we take all those vague ideas and what-ifs from conversations and translate them into a concrete plan. We stop talking in generalities and start creating a really clear, shared understanding of exactly what this thing needs to do.
A really key tool for this is what we call a model. Now, the official Babak definition here is perfect. A model isn't just a fancy diagram. It's a communication tool. Its whole purpose is to help a specific audience, whether that's a CEO, a coder, or a customer, get a complex idea in a simple way.
And we don't just use one type of model. A good business analyst looks at the problem from every possible angle. So for Brugo, we'd model who's involved, like the customer and the barista. We'd model why we're even doing this, to speed up service. We'd map out how a person actually moves through the app, what it can do, and what kind of data it needs to work. And here is a perfect example of a model in action. It's called a user story. For our Brugo app, instead of saying something vague like, customers can order, we get specific. We define who wants what, and most importantly, why. As a busy commuter, I want to save my favorite order so that I can reorder it with one tap. See the difference? Now that is specific, it's actionable, and you can see the business value right there.
So now that we've got our requirements, we have to check our own homework. This is called verification, and it forces us to ask a really important question. Are we building the product right? This is all about quality control on the plans we just made.
Verification is really just making sure our plans are clear, consistent, and complete. Are there any contradictions in here? Is anything kind of fuzzy or ambiguous? Is there enough detail for a developer to actually start building this thing? We're basically checking our own work before we hand it off. Okay, so if verification was about checking our work, this next step, validation, is about checking our thinking. And it asks a totally different question. Are we building the right product? This isn't an internal quality check. This is an external check against the actual business goals.
Validation makes sure that everything we just defined actually ties back to the original problem we're trying to solve. For Brugo, does a one-tap reorder feature actually help us speed up service for busy commuters and build loyalty? Because if it doesn't matter how perfectly we specified it.
And this distinction, it's everything. Verification is internal quality, building the product right. Validation is external value, building the right product. You need both. Because let's be honest, perfectly engineering the wrong solution is one of the quickest ways for a project to fail. And this is exactly why this all matters so much. Every little bit of confusion you catch during verification saves a developer hours of headaches. And every useless feature you catch during validation saves you from building something that nobody actually wanted in the first place. This whole process is about systematically getting rid of risk and waste.
All right, so our requirements are checked for quality and we know they're valuable. Now we need to organize them. This is where we define the requirements architecture. You can really think of this as creating the master blueprint for the whole solution.
So this architecture step makes sure that all the individual pieces are going to work together smoothly. For our Brugo app, it's not just about having a favorites button. It's about how that button connects to the payment system and how the payment system has to check the live inventory. This blueprint ensures we're building a single, cohesive app, not just a random collection of features. Now we get to shift our focus from the what to the how. This is where we define the design options. We've locked in what we need, so now we get to explore the different ways we could actually build this thing, because there's almost never just one way to do it. So let's bring this back to Brugo.
We know we need a mobile ordering app, but what does that actually mean from a technical standpoint? Should we build a native app that you have to download from an app store? Or maybe it could be a web-based app that just works in any browser.
A business analyst would lay out the trade-offs something like this. You've got option A, the native app. It gives you the best performance, but it's also the most expensive, and you're dependent on the app stores. Then you have option B, the web app. It's cheaper, it's easier to access, but it might not be quite as slick or fast. Comparing them like this makes the choice really transparent.
And all of that leads us to our final step, recommending a solution. But this isn't about a gut feeling or just picking the coolest technology. No, this is about a serious, data-driven decision to find the option that delivers the most possible value to the business.
So here, we pull everything together. We're weighing the costs, the potential benefits, the risks, and how well each of our options lines up with our original goals. We're on the hunt for the one path that gives Brugo the greatest overall value. We can even put numbers to this. By scoring each option on things like user experience and potential new sales, we can often see a clear winner emerge. In this case, maybe the native app, even with its higher cost, delivers way more potential value. Let's say 85% versus 65%, because it's just so much faster and smoother to use. This makes the final recommendation incredibly clear, confident, and easy to justify. We're not just saying, hey, let's build a native app. We're saying, we recommend the native app because our analysis shows it delivers the most value by providing the best possible user experience.
So, let's just quickly recap that whole journey. We started by modeling the needs visually. Then, we verified them for quality and validated them for business value. After that, we created a solid architecture, explored our different design options, and finally, we recommended the solution that had the highest potential value. That's the path. You know, if there's one single idea that runs through this entire process, it's captured perfectly in this quote from the Babok Guide. The real job, the most important part, is to just keep asking why. Why does the user need this? Why is this the best design? Why will this actually deliver value? This framework isn't just a bunch of theory. It is a powerful tool for turning confusing ambiguity into focused action. It ensures that the stuff you build truly matters. So for your next big idea, which one of these steps will you focus on first to make sure it's a success?